Red State, the first movie Smith has done that isn't really a comedy. I mean, there is comedy in it, but for the most part, it's a thriller. It's probably his most ambitious film, there's a lot of respect about it, but the movie itself I think is just okay. It starts off with three teenage boys named Travis, Jared, and Billy Ray, who head out to the middle of nowhere to meet a woman in order to have sex. When they get there, she offers them beers, which turn out to be drugged, and the three pass out. When they wake up, they are being held hostage by a religious cult headed by Pastor Cooper, played by Michael Parks. The cult is basically the Westboro Baptist Church with guns, or alternatively, Waco if they made it past the siege. So as I said, on a pure ambitious level, it really does stand out amongst Smith's other films. It looks different, the acting and dialogue are different, it just has a much darker tone than a lot of his other movies. And there is a lot I like in this. First off, the acting is great. The members of the cult are over the top and kind of silly, but also a little scary. Like I said, they basically take the worst aspects of Waco and the Westboro Baptist Church. The three boys do a good job in looking scared shitless. They look like they were just drugged and kidnapped, waking up in a place they have never seen before with a bunch of crazy people. But probably the best performance is Michael Parks. He pulls off the cult leader perfectly. In order to head a cult, you have to be charismatic as fuck and show off a feeling of confidence and power. And he does that very well. He can be scary, but funny, batshit insane, but also comforting to his followers. He acts like a father figure to them, which is why it is so infuriating when he tells them to kill people all in God's name. I also really love the way the movie is shot. It's dark, it's gritty, there's a ton of shots close up on the characters' faces to make it feel more claustrophobic. And the action scenes are also pretty cool. There's chase scenes through the church that are shaky and quickly edited, but in a way that makes it feel more intense instead of annoying. And the shootouts that happen between the church and the police are well done too. It all does just have this very disturbing atmosphere, and I love that about the movie. For me, the weakest part about the film was the plot. Not that it's necessarily a bad plot, most everything makes sense in the universe the film set up, it's got good pacing, and it doesn't outstay its welcome, lasting only about 90 minutes. For me, there's two problems. One, it's a bit too obvious. Like, the message of the film is that religious zealots are bad. No shit. Nobody likes the Westboro Baptist Church except for the Westboro Baptist Church. So it kinda just feels like it's saying this is bad when we all know it is. I thought Dogma handled the religious commentary way better and in a much more clever way. The other is that the three teenage boys that the movie starts with and focuses on have very little to do with this story. About halfway through, the focus switches to John Goodman playing an ATF agent. And he's not bad, he's good in the role, and his part leads to some fun shootouts, but it does feel weird that the real main character comes in at about the halfway mark. There's other little things that happen, like one of the younger members tries to escape with one of the boys, but nothing really comes of that. There's a thing with the sheriff being gay, but nothing comes of that. It all leads to an ending that should have been awesome, but just sort of leaves the film on a lame note. They did originally want to do this big grand ending that would have been something awesome, but they didn't have the budget, so instead it seems he tried making the ending kind of a joke, which could have worked, but the joke is explained rather than shown, so it just comes off as disappointing. There is a lot to like about Red State, and overall, I do recommend seeing it at least once. For me, it was a good one and done movie. I watched it twice, and even on the second viewing, it started to lose me a bit. I give it a 6 out of 10, but I appreciate what it does well, and just the fact that he made a movie like this, I think is admirable. And I think if he can even out a few of the flaws, he can do a horror comedy that is even better, something no one would expect. He came back 3 years later with something just like that. See you tomorrow.